Is it right to get your opinion about a person based on hearsay or rumors or gossip? Isn't it best that if you can, you should hear directly from that person and then make up your mind about what kind of person they are? Yes, this is always a better way, a more fair way to draw an opinion about someone. Regarding Jesus, we ought to do the same. No doubt we've heard others speak about him, but what, if anything, have we heard directly from him about himself? Has he said anything about himself that might have an impact on what you think about him? Let's find out. Okay, let's take a look at some of the things Jesus said about himself, and let's see if any of them might have an impact on what we think about him. There are quite a number of them in the scriptures in the New Testament. I've chosen some of them, and I want to let you know that there is a slide at the end of the video with all the ones I was able to find. So with that, why don't we get started in our review? We'll start here in Matthew chapter 11, where Jesus says, "Come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." And I underlined here, for I am gentle and lowly in heart. So we have the great comfort knowing that Jesus is a gentle person. He is lowly in heart. He's humble. Next, we go here to Matthew chapter 16. Verse 13, it says, "Now when Jesus came to the district of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, 'Who do people say that the Son of Man is?' And they said, 'Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and others Jeremiah or one of the prophets.' And he said to them, 'But who do you say that I am?' Simon Peter replied, 'You are the Christ, the Son of the living God.' And Jesus answered him, 'Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven.'" So we see here a point-blank question, Jesus wanting to know from his disciples, who do they think that he is? Next, and he confirmed, just by the way, he confirms that he is the Christ, the Son of the living God. Next, Jesus is before the high priest in Jerusalem, and the high priest stood up in the midst and asked Jesus, "Have you no answer to make? What is it that these men testify against you?" But he remained silent and made no answer. Again, the high priest asked him, "Are you the Christ, the Son of the Blessed?" And Jesus said, "I am. And you will see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of power and coming with the clouds of heaven." And the high priest tore his garments and said, "What further witnesses do we need? You have heard his blasphemy. What is your decision?" And they all condemned him as deserving death. So he said of himself that he was the Christ, the Son of the Blessed, or Son of God. Next, we have in the book of Luke. Come up here a little bit, and it says here, chapter 17, verse 11, "On the way to Jerusalem, he passed along between Samaria and Galilee. And as he entered a village, he was met by 10 lepers, who stood at a distance and lifted up their voices, saying, 'Jesus, Master, have mercy on us.' When he saw them, he said to them, 'Go and show yourselves to the priests.' And as they went, they were cleansed. Then one of them, when he saw that he was healed, turned back, praising God with a loud voice, and he fell at Jesus' feet, giving him thanks. Now he was a Samaritan. And Jesus answered, 'Were not 10 cleansed? Where are the 9? Was no one found to return and give praise to God except this foreigner?' And he said to him, Rise and go your way. Your faith has made you well. Here Jesus is making it clear to us that he is God. He cleansed these 10 lepers with a word. He just said, Go and show yourselves to the priest, and he healed all 10 of them. One of them happened to return and give thanks to God. And Jesus said, was that no one found to return and give praise to God except this foreigner. So here Jesus is making it clear that he is God. Next, we have in John chapter 3. This has to do with Jesus' origin. It says, verse 13, no one has ascended into heaven except he who descended from heaven, the Son of Man. Now, the Son of Man was a phrase used in the Old Testament regarding the Messiah that would come, and he took that upon himself, the Son of Man, the title, the Son of Man. But he also says that he who descended from heaven. So it's clear that Jesus came from heaven and to be the Messiah, the Son of God. Again, we have here in John chapter 4, he's speaking to a woman, and the woman has got many questions regarding the Messiah. And she says, it says here, the woman said to him, I know that Messiah is coming, he who is called Christ. When he comes, he will tell us all things. And Jesus said to her, I who speak to you am he. So he confirms once again that he is the Christ, that he is the Messiah. And I underlined this, he will tell us all things. I have a quick question for us. Who have we been waiting for? Who have you been waiting for to tell you all things? Well, Jesus will tell you all that you need to know, all that you want to know. Next, Jesus here is speaking to the Pharisees, and he says to them, you search the scriptures because you think that in them you have eternal life, and it is they that bear witness about me, yet you refuse to come to me that you may have life. So the scriptures, Jesus is saying that all the scriptures in the Old Testament and the New Testament are a testimony about him, and that there's no salvation in the scriptures themselves. Our salvation is found in a person, and he's saying here it is they, the scriptures, that bear witness of him, and yet they refuse to come to him that they might have life. In John chapter 6, verse 34, and they said to him, Sir, give us this bread always. And Jesus said to them, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me shall not hunger, and whoever believes in me shall never thirst. So here he proclaims himself the bread of life. Next, in John chapter 7, verse 7, he says, the world cannot hate you, and he's talking about his unbelievers, people who aren't believing who he is. He says, the world cannot hate you, but it hates me, because I testify about it that its works are evil. So here, the reason why Jesus is not held up and praised by everyone on earth right now and since he was on planet Earth, it's not happening because he testifies that the world's works are evil. And that's why it hates him. Next, in John chapter 8, it says, again, Jesus spoke to them, saying, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. So Jesus is the light of the world. He makes the claim of himself that he is the light of the world, and that light that he is giving to any who will receive it is the light of life. Next, in John chapter 8, he says to them, you are from below, I am from above. You are of this world. I am not of this world. Jesus makes it clear that he is not of this world. He is from heaven, and he came from heaven to this world. And he's saying that he is from above. He is not of this world. Next, we have here in John chapter 10, you may have heard this before. Jesus says, I am the good shepherd. I know my own, and my own know me. Here's a question for us. Are we known by Jesus? Do we know him, and are we known by him? Each of us should think about that. And if not, we should make Jesus our good shepherd so that he knows us and that we know him. Next, John chapter 13, he says, he's talking to his disciples, and he says here, you call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet, for I have given you an example that you should also do just as I have done to you. So here Jesus calls himself teacher and Lord. Yes and amen. In John chapter 14, Jesus said to him, he's speaking to someone, and he says, I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. So here Jesus is saying that he himself is the way to heaven, the way to life. He is the truth. He is the truth of life, and he is the life. And that no one can come to God, no one can get to the Father except going through him. Next, we have Jesus saying in John chapter 15, I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever abides in me, and I in him, he it is that bears much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing. So he is the vine, and we are the branches. Apart from him, we can do nothing that is good, righteous, or true. Next, in John chapter 17, Jesus, verse 1, when Jesus had spoken these words, he lifted up his eyes to heaven and said, Father, the hour is come. Glorify your Son, that the Son may glorify you. So here Jesus is saying point blank that God in heaven is his Father, and he's asking God to glorify him so that he might glorify the Father. Next, we have Jesus in heaven speaking. After his resurrection, his life, his death, his resurrection, he ascends back to heaven and is in heaven. And the vision, the revelation that John, the Apostle John, received from Jesus, Jesus in heaven and speaking to him. And here he says, when I saw him, I fell at his feet as though dead. But he laid his right hand on me, saying, Fear not, I am the first and the last, and the living one. I died, and behold, I am alive forevermore, and I have the keys to death and Hades. So here Jesus is saying that he is the first and the last, he's alive forevermore, and that he holds the keys of death and Hades. And then finally, we have from heaven, Jesus declaring, Behold, I am coming soon, bringing my recompense with me, to repay each one for what he has done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, the beginning and the end. Jesus makes it very clear here who he is. He is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. And he's coming soon. I hope those were a blessing to you. Let's go back out to the park and wrap things up. So a few questions jump up immediately after that brief review that we've done of what Jesus said about himself. The first question is, did Jesus think of himself as just any other man, any other person? I think that answer is no. I think he knew that he was extraordinary, that he was unique, and that he was special. Another question that jumps up is, did Jesus claim to be God? That answer is yes, he did, and that's why they crucified him. Did anything that Jesus say about himself change your opinion about him? Another thing that we should consider after that review, since Jesus has rose from the dead, he's come back from the dead, out of the grave alive, and he's alive today, is there anything that he has said that we can dismiss, that we can discount? I think the answer is no. I think we need to take very seriously everything that Jesus has said. A bit of a bonus question here. When did Jesus say that he was going to return? And are you ready for that return, for him to come back to earth and establish his kingdom on earth? Well, that goes back to the question that he asked Peter and that he's asking of you and I. That question is, who do you say that I am? I hope that you can say that he's your Lord and your God. I hope that you can say that he's your shepherd and your teacher. I hope that you can say that he is your way and your truth and your life. If that's not the case, make it so today. Go to him today prayerfully and make it so. And then spend the rest of your life following Jesus. And God bless you as you do. Until next time, bye now.